Hey, yo, episode 4, live now. Squared Circle Spotlight. We're back, fourth episode. Thanks for jumping in and watching with us. I want to start out this week with a big congratulations to our very own Jay Hollywood, the Cowabunga kid, our guy Jeremy. He's bettering his life. He decided to go back to school. He's working on that degree. He's working on that degree at Big Poponomics. So thank you, Jeremy. Very proud of you for trying to do better for
You
yourself.
had you had me going there first. I was like, "Oh, Jeremy's going back to school." Oh, good.
The brains are right there, bro.
Big Poponomics. We're pushing for it. We're working with our local colleges. We're working with Rutgers, Princeton, NGIT, trying to get Big Poponomics curriculum in school. So if you guys want it in your schools, talk to your legislators, talk to your Board of Education,
Yeah,
get Big Poponomics in your school. We're really trying to get this to take off. So yeah, we're really pushing for
Monmouth
that. Thank you.
University is almost on board. They're almost on board.
You guys didn't check out last week's episode, check it out. You'll figure out what we're talking about. If you didn't see the clips online as well, check it out on Instagram or YouTube. You'll learn all about Jeremy and his adventures in Big Poponomics. So check those
Damn
out.
straight.
We're back now. We got some new topics for this week. We're going to talk about a legend that very few people have ever heard of. First week I'm hearing out
I
about
just
it. So
learned about him today.
it's our gimmick of the week. So stay tuned for that. No stipulation, unfortunately, this week. We'll be back with that very soon. But we have a botch bracket, a playoff style bracket of top botches of all time. We got another merch table with some. It's always fun when Charlie brings out some of the interesting figures he has. So looking forward to that. And then we'll talk about John Cena a little bit. He's still kind of a hot topic all these years later. So we're going to talk about John Cena in our deep dive this week. So we'll jump right into it. You can't see Jeremy. We're going to do a little warm up question. We usually start with something kind of fun here. So we'll start with a new one this week. We will do a push, release, repackage. So I'm going to give you guys three current wrestlers, and you're going to decide who you would push to make your main eventer, your champion, whatever you want to do, uh, who you would release, and who you would repackage. So we'll go with three big names here. So I think you all might be familiar with them. So we'll go Cody, Roman, CM Punk. Jeremy, I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, come on. All right, so Cody, Roman, and Punk.
Yeah. Who would
And
you
then
push? Who would you release? And who would you repackage with something else?
I'm releasing Roman. He
Damn.
don't wrestle a lot.
Okay.
He's got the Brock or the Rock treatment. He doesn't wrestle a lot. They just throw him in promos a little bit. It's kind of dried out to me. At least you get some work from Cody and you get some work from Punk always. So I'm definitely getting rid of him. Push and what was the other one?
Repackage. Give him a whole new story, whole new gimmick.
I'm giving Cody a repackage.
Interesting. What would you package him as? Repackage him as.
That's the thing, though. I don't know. I mean,
Stardust.
There you go.
I'm not saying Stardust, but like I need an edgier one, kind of like how what was it? The Acolytes with Roman, Seth, and or
Shield.
no,
No,
the Shield.
Shield.
Yes, and then what was it? What was his gimmick in with the Shield?
Who are we
Who's?
talking about?
I'm drawing a blank, and I hate it that I'm doing it. He's not wrestling with the WWE. He's with
Dean
AEW, isn't he?
Ambrose, John Maxley. John Moxley, Dean
John
Ambrose.
Maxwell. Yeah, I liked what they did with his character when he had to step up when everybody else got injured. But I don't think they did it right. But I think like some sort of a branding like that, where he gets like that turn, and you see he's becoming more of
Oh,
a
oh.
face in that aspect a little bit, where he's running over the crowd. But I don't want to say it's that type of gimmick, but just something where it works in that favor.
To give
And
him a
I'm
little
pushing,
edge.
yeah, I'm pushing Punk then. I think
Oh,
he
Okay.
always gives you steady quality, even if you may not like him outside of wrestling. Inside of wrestling, he gives you steady quality, always has.
you like Punk?
I'm indifferent with him. I was never a huge fan, but like stuff I see in the ring and how he makes it fun for people, If you friends with him, you don't mind him, but if you don't like him, it's definitely don't like him.
All
I
right,
like it.
Charlie, it's on you.
All right. I surprisingly I have the same choices as my good friend Jeremy, but I have
Wow.
a little different reasons for it. I'm gonna release Roman because you can't really. What else are you gonna do with him? The guy I think has one foot out of the door. He was the big dog. They saved his career, you know, with the tribal chief. He's made an impact. He's main evented so many WrestleManias. It's time to go, Roman. Got to go. I'm going to repackage Cody just because you can already see the inklings of the crowd starting to turn on the white meat babyface, and I still am a little uh chapped in the ass that he left AEW the way he did. I didn't like that. And of course, I'm going to push uh CM Punk, who is one of my all-time favorite workers, not only in the ring, on the mic. I think what do they say? They call him Dollar Bill Phil because he's the only true genuine article or whatever. And I think that's what you get what you get with CM Punk is who he is. And I'd push that guy, put a rocket ship and send him to the moon.
All right, well, I guess I'm going completely different than you guys. I am pushing your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Mm,
Pushing him. The guy's already proved to be a draw. He's the tribal chief. I acknowledge him. I'm pushing him. He carried WWE the last few years. That bloodline story carried WWE for the last, yeah, I don't know, 5 years now.
During the PG
Not
era. Ooh.
we're out of P. This is the Triple H era. We're in a new era. PG era is
Now we
But
are.
he needed Brock. He needed Paul Heyman.
He needed support a little bit of
rock out.
Yeah,
other.
Wait a minute.
he
Wait a
needed.
minute. Wait a minute. Roman needed Paul Heyman. Let's dial it back a little. You just pushed CM Punk, who got the help of
Yeah.
who? Yes, Paul Heyman.
Well,
Thank you.
he was a
He's
Paul Heyman
already
guy, but he got over on his own.
exactly.
He had Heyman in his corner. Roman got over his too. If Roman's character isn't what it was, it still doesn't get over, even with Paul Heyman. Ryback was a Paul Heyman guy. What happened with him? Case closed. Thank
So
you.
was Curtis Axel.
You mean Michael McGillicuddy? Was that what his first name he went by? Um,
Oh,
so
Jesus.
I'm pushing Roman Reigns. I am going to repackage along with both of you, Cody. Not very big on the white meat baby face, never have been. So I'm kind of with Jeremy on that. I give him a little edge, give him a little something different. Even when he was like in the Bullet Club, he was cool. That was a cool Cody. I don't know how much that still gets over now, but that would be cool. Something a little edgier. Um, so
Create
yeah,
a faction of some sort.
exactly. Do something different. The white meat's red, white, and blue baby face Hogan-esque stuff. Yeah, not really feeling it. Yeah, so repackage him, and I am cutting your boy Punk. I hate Punk. Always hated him. I'm probably like another Seth Rollins here, but I hate Punk. He is a entitled crybaby. Let him go. Get him out the door. I'm done with him. The
Send him
wrestler,
back
nah,
to the
I'm kidding.
UFC.
Send Phil back to the UFC. Let him lose to Mickey Gall again. Um, no, but I did. Maybe I'm being a little more harsh. Punk's super talented. Just not a big fan of him. We could, let him go. Not a fan of him. He's a cancer everywhere he's been. So let him be a cancer somewhere else. See you, Phil. You're done.
Ooh,
But you
oof.
watch. You watch.
I do. Not big on Punk, but yeah.
He
Anyway, I'm a
puts
Seth Rollins
cheeks
guy.
in seats.
It's true. It's true. He's a draw. They
Bums
chanted
or
Punk for
Punk,
10
bums
years
and
after he was
seats.
gone.
7 year, yeah, and yeah, they never forgot him, and he gets a reaction everywhere he goes.
He even
Yep.
Shakes
punches
things
Jungle
up.
Boy in the face. All right.
Who wouldn't like to punch Jack Perry in the face?
I mean, no comment. All right, we're moving on. Our first segment, our hot tag for this week. So we are gonna do a botch bracket, the ultimate botch of all time. We're looking to decide that. So we set up a playoff style bracket here of the 8 top botches we've come up with. And we're gonna do round one this week. So it'll be 3 rounds. We'll do the intro round this week, semifinals next week, and then in 2 weeks we will do the finals. So if you were on our Instagram, you can get a preview of this. It's already been up there. We have some votes on that. I won't reveal the votes because I don't want it to swing your guys' opinions here. So we're gonna starting out with probably, and if we were to rank these and put them in tiers, this is probably the number one of all time to a lot of people, but I don't have it as my number one. I'll say that. So we've got the Shockmaster versus a very similar botch, the Titus slide, when Titus O'Neil ran down to the ring and slid directly under the ring. So Shockmaster breaking through the wall. That was his big debut. Fell flat on his face with a bedazzled Star Trooper helmet. And Titus O'Neil sliding directly under the ring as he's supposed to enter in Saudi Arabia. So I'll let you guys vote first, and then I'll give you guys mine.
I got mine.
All right, go ahead, Charlie. You got yours.
I think both of them are hilarious botches. I actually watched the Titus World Slide live, and I remember dying watching it. But I think the Shockmaster, just in terms of overall, I mean, everyone knows it. It destroyed a character. When Davy Boy, you hear him go, he fell in his house, or what? It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So yeah, Shockmaster.
Yeah, it's one for
I'm gonna
Shockmaster.
have to rightfully agree with Charlie over there.
All right, so
I
Shockmaster
mean,
already gets the win.
you look at the Titus O'Neil, and I do remember that seeing that a few times back in the day with clips and whatnot. I didn't see it live. I can attest to that. But okay, he slid in about literally the Shockmaster. What could go wrong? Type aspect. Literally everything. Everything went wrong. Nothing went
And the
right.
bedazzled stormtrooper mask.
First off, that costume was ridiculous.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And they
The voice.
repackaged the Shockmaster after that. Wasn't he like an electrician after that? He came back and he wore like an electrician's gear, completely
Yeah, it was
changed
just
it.
like big Fred Ottman.
Yeah. So Shockmaster wins. My vote doesn't even matter. I would have voted for Shockmaster as well. The Titus O'Neil one, like Charlie said, had me dying when it happened. I still crack up at it watching it. It was
That's so
horrible.
good.
But yeah, Shockmaster, his that was the debut and that was the end of it. That was ruined the entire character. So that's
Uh,
got to go for
Grand opening, grand closing.
it. Yeah, exactly. So Shockmaster is going to move
or
on to the next round. And now we have our next matchup. Winner of this over Shockmaster. So we have the famous Sid Vicious WCW promo where Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are mocking him in the ring. Kevin Nash has also a very funny Sid Vicious mask on. That's not even the funniest part. Sid comes out and says, you're half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do." And at that point, that completely breaks Kevin Nash and Scott Hall in the ring, cracking up. And Sid doesn't even realize that what he just said and continues on very seriously. So hilarious. If you haven't seen it, watch that. So we have that one, the Sid half a brain promo. And then another one that had me dying. I know there was many nights sitting at Charlie's house rewatching this one in the middle of the night, dying watching this. Vince McMahon entering the Royal Rumble after what was I still don't know if it was a real botch or if this was meant to happen, but Cena and Batista both go over the top rope to end the Royal Rumble match. Both touch it like the exact same time, even if you watch it, still don't know. So Vince comes out to clear it, runs down to the ring, slides in, and immediately tears both of his quads. That's
oh,
terrible. That's horrible. But the way he reacted afterward, the show must go on. Vince McMahon immediately sat down in the ring and
Right in the
continued,
corner. I just
sat right
looked
on the
like,
ropes,
what just
no,
happened?
right. He didn't even get to the corner. He just sat right down.
Oh, that's
sat right on
right.
the ring. Yeah, right on the ropes, right there. And the funnier part is
Uh,
when you saw it live, it was like, you don't why the hell is he just sitting there? So,
right.
Yep.
we got
Uh,
Pay-per-view,
so
nonetheless. Royal Rumble.
let me get the
So
next. Let
Sid
me get
half a
my
brain,
pick.
yeah. Sid half a brain versus Vince tore quads. Charlie, you're up.
Okay. Quick story with the tear quads. We were watching the Royal Rumble live at my house,
I remember this,
with my
Charlie.
cousin, who was a huge Batista fan, and Jeremy, who is a John Cena fan, and like like you said, Joe, they time it. It looks like it was meant to be because they hit at the exact same time, and Jeremy and my
How do you
cousin
time that
Matt
though?
are they're like arguing, like getting mad at each other. No, he won. No, he won. No, he. And then Vince comes out and he tears, and then it just cuts the tension, and everyone just starts dying laughing, and you could see he was in so much pain and no selling it. It's just just sitting there, and he was so in pain. Who tears both quads off the bone, and he wouldn't sell it. He wouldn't sell it. He just sat there. Oh God, that not only cracks me up, it makes me feel happy. So that's a winner.
It brings back
Anytime
some very happy, funny memories.
yeah, it's a beautiful
Jeremy.
moment.
He didn't even speak on the Sid one though, and that one we
Yeah,
just
that's true. You didn't say
reminisced.
anything on Sid.
I'm sorry, that's one of my favorite moments of all time.
I can't argue. I mean, I love the Sid Vicious one. I wished it went up against a different one and not the first round. But I remember this one when I was at his house. It is a memory that is burned in my brain to the day I die, or I get dementia, or I lose my mind. Who knows? But moving forward, that one was hysterical. I remember the heat of the moment, and then us just looking at each other like,
Yep.
no way, he can't walk. What?
Yeah.
Royal
You're like,
Rumble
why
pay
was
per
Vince
view?
sitting
What?
down?
Oh my God.
All right, so I think we move forward again. Vince torn quads moves on to face Shockmaster next week, so that's a big one. That is a
That's
big one. That's
ooh,
Yeah, that's Celtics Lakers. That's Yankees Red Sox. That's huge. So yeah, that's
that's
next week.
huge.
I would have voted for Vince as well. That one still gets me to this day. Hilarious. That's a top notch. That's got to move on. All right, we got the next one coming up. So we got the famous Hulk Hogan fireball incident in WCW. He's trying to light like a paper that he throws at Ultimate Warrior to burn him during a match at Hollywood Hogan. Lights it the first time, can't get it to go. Lights it the second time to throw it, burns up in his own face, almost burns his own facial hair off. So Hogan with the fireball. And then we've got the very famous one, the Booker T famous N-word incident. Oddly enough, he's going up against Hogan, the man he called out in that promo. So you got the Booker T N-word. Won't say any more on that. I will just leave it at that. And Hogan fireball. I
He
will give
drops
my
the
vote
no-no
first.
word.
I'm going to give my vote first on this one. I didn't. My vote hasn't mattered yet, so I want mine to count at least for one. So yeah, I'm going. I'm going Booker T. Booker. That's an easy one. Booker T. Yeah, because even after he says it, his reaction is priceless. He puts his head in his hands. Sherry Martel's in the background looking at him, cracking up.
It's like, it's okay. It's okay.
So I mean, it's a real Booker T moment. He probably would have just said that in real life,
Well, at
but
least he
yeah,
saw he's like, because he always did this. So, or did he stick with
exactly.
that after that? Like, well, this needs to get me through it.
So yeah, I'm
Spin a
going Booker
Rooney.
T. That's an easy one. I will hand it over to I think Charlie went first last time. I'll go Jeremy on this one.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I wasn't watching WCW much back then, so I can't say I saw it live, nor did I understand the whole push to that drama. But the Booker T dropping the N bomb was iconic
To say
because
the
it
least.
was live and there was nothing you could do about it, and it will forever live in history on that one.
All right, Charlie, any insight on these? We were at Booker T moves on, but want to see what you think.
We want the gold. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Oh yes.
And I'm with Joe. The moment in itself is it's funny, but it's the after of Booker T realizing, oh my
Yes.
God, what have I done? And Sherry like just putting her hand on him, and you're like, I don't know if she's trying not to laugh or just
He's trying
genuinely
to
feels bad
console
for the
and not
guy.
laugh at the same time.
It's so funny. It really is. But
Yes.
he's just trying to cut a promo. That's Booker T does the promos with passion. He's trying to be spontaneous, and it
That passion really
didn't work
came
out
out.
so well. Yeah, live
All
TV,
right,
folks.
all right, and
Wasn't
on
that
other
on
side of the
basic cable too?
TBS. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That moves on. So that'll face the winner of this next one. This one is one of my personal favorites. I got this one going all the way. We'll see what happens. We got the infamous AEW Deathmatch Explosion with Kenny Omega being saved. Um, so they had the barbed wire. I forget, maybe Charlie, you remember what the exact title of the match was. It was a barbed wire deathmatch explosion. I don't even remember what it was called.
Floating barbed wire death match or something.
There
Yeah,
you
it
go.
was something.
So yeah, there was
I
a
don't have much
countdown on the clock
recollection.
at the end of the match. The ring would explode as it was being advertised. And Eddie Kingston comes in and dives on top of Kenny Omega or no, sorry, was it Kenny Omega or Dean Ambrose? Who was in there? Or John Moxley?
It was Moxley. He
It was
Moxley.
Moxley in the ring. Yeah, yeah. Moxley was in the ring. Eddie Kingston dives on top of him to protect him from the blast. And we get some little Fourth of July sparklers go off, little sparklers in the corner. A little bit of fog comes up. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. And they still tried to sell it. I mean, Eddie Kingston's laying there like he just saved his
Uh
life. Excalibur's on the mic, really trying to sell this, but it was horrible, absolutely horrible. So, yeah, AEW
Pyrotechnics
Explosion.
got fired on that one.
And then this one will go up against this one. We're going to give it a 2-for-1 on this one. And our man Goldberg. So Goldberg's car botches. He had two. So we're going to group them together since they're both car involved. There was one where he was supposed to break through the window of a limo with a metal bar. Ends up punching directly through the window, cuts his arm open, almost cuts an artery, I believe, and almost bleeds out. So not funny that he almost dies, but pretty funny that he did that to himself, not following instruction. And then the other one in WWF when he was feuding with The Rock, and The Rock took off in I think it was a Hummer limousine. Uh, Goldberg's supposed to chase after him in a muscle car. Goldberg gets in the car, tries to take off, stalls the car out, can't get it started. That's not even the funny part. It's funny that he stalled it out. But the funny part is then by this point, The Rock's about 5 minutes down the road in this limo. Goldberg gets out and starts running after him, trying to catch up to the car on foot. And then, we see a cutaway after that where The Rock's actually still there with somebody else in the car. But the fact that Goldberg ran off was the funniest part of that. And to have two car botches is just bad luck for him. So yeah, we're gonna go AEW Explosion versus the Goldberg car botches, and I will give it over to I think it's Jeremy. It's your turn on this one first.
So AEW explosion, I don't have much recollection of, and now I know why. Thank you, Joe, for reinforming me why. It wasn't a huge highlight, but it in itself, but it was, as a matter of fact, because it was lackluster. Um, yeah, Goldberg, it's not even close because yeah, that was bad. Pyrotechnics definitely got fired. Like I said, like you botched that one really bad, but Goldberg not being able to handle anything with four wheels and a steering wheel apparently at all on promos, and everything goes wrong repeatedly. Yeah, and it's just too funny him running after the car. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Run. Okay.
All
Starts.
right, so
Uh,
Jeremy's going Goldberg. Charlie, who you got?
all right. So am I the tiebreaker here?
I didn't vote yet, so this is the second vote here.
Oh, okay. Well, my vote is going to be for the AEW exploding Fizzler. Um, I was into AEW very much at that point. I was on the hype train. And that match, if you take it, what sucks is if everyone just remembers that match was a good match. It was very physical. Those guys sacrificed their bodies. It was a good storyline going into it. And then I watched some like Japanese death match where they had the ring. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. I mean, what can Tony Khan and his billions of dollars do? And I was so disappointed. I thought it was a joke. I thought, oh, surely the real explosion is going to come. And then when, like you said, Excalibur just sells it, and Eddie Kingston has to lie on top of my, he's like, he's taking the brunt of the explosion. It's really just like two like little dazzlers going off. It was so bad. It ruined a pay-per-view, ruined a match, and had an impact on a company that is still trying to recover from.
was that their downfall
It was a start
That
of
was
it.
a big one.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna break the tie here. So that Goldberg one is that specifically the one Jeremy talked about where he chases down the car was pretty funny because he's trying to improvise and instead of just staying there and like the car broke down or saying the Rock rigged the car so it wouldn't drive, he takes off on foot chasing him
I
and he
think it
almost
makes
killed
it that
himself.
much funnier.
Yeah, and he almost killed himself on the other one. And then you have the AEW explosion. I'm going the AEW explosion. It was historically bad. I mean, the way the match was advertised, and like Charlie said, a good match. But the way it was advertised, how it is a death match and exploding barbed wire, and then you just see these little fizzlers going off in the corner was very, very bad. I've seen backyard wrestling with better pyro. Um, so yeah, I'm
They know
going
how to do it in the
AEW
backyard
explosion.
wrestling with the pyros. Trust me. They'll light the
That's
whole
true.
forest on
Yeah.
fire if you give them a chance.
So AEW explosion. That one's gonna move on. So it's our round one of the bucket, the botch bracket. So next week we will have the Shockmaster versus Vince tearing his quads, and we will have the Booker T N-word promo versus the AEW explosion to see who goes to the final. So tune in
Those are
next week.
going
I
to
think
That's
be
it was the
tough.
only one we disagreed on.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Those are going to be tough.
It's gonna be a tough one
Look
next
at
week. I
me
think we're gonna
playing
have some
devil's advocate.
we're gonna have some competition next week. It'll be a good discussion. We'll see what moves on. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a fun one, and we'll try and add some other bracket stuff like this in down the road too. I know
Oh, I
Charlie's
got
got
some
some ideas.
ideas.
Jeremy has some ideas that are kind of dark, so we'll see.
No, I actually got some good ones.
All right. We're gonna move on. One of our favorite segments of the week, the merch table. I'm gonna hand it over to Charlie. He's got some stuff for us.
All right, boys and girls. What do we have on this week's merch table? We shall take a deep dive and grab some fun and fantastic wrestlers from the past. Let's dive in. Okay. Oh, Jack Pacific. I'll give you guys a hint. See if you get throwing up. The guy had a thing he could puke. He's gonna he gotta puke. But it's not
It was
it's
puke.
draws.
It's puke.
Gosh.
It's puke draws. Obviously before D'Lo ruined his life, but it is draws. It's kind of cool. Got his tongue sticking out like a maniac. But
That's
there
actually
you
a
The
good
go.
Michael
figure, though.
Jordan tongue.
It's not
That's
it's
a
not a terrible figure
that's a well done one.
for the time. Yeah. Okay. So it's well done. All right. Now this was made this like a year later, so maybe a little better. No, 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 no. The Big Show. Look at this. Look at this
Oh my
hunk of
God.
garbage. This hunk of trash. What?
I
Oh my
think I
God.
remember those commercials and
Look how
like them
big his hand.
exploding through stuff
Yeah.
because they're so big. It's like the
Look
friggin'
at this.
Kool-Aid Man.
Why is he so? Why is
It's just
everything? His arms so thick? These
look at his
big.
hands.
Yeah.
Thick,
I mean,
thick.
I
Oh my.
understand, but Jesus, like
His bicep is like the
terrible.
size of his head.
You take the Hasbros that we collected as kids and you compare them. I'll take the Hasbros any day over this.
I don't think he was ever that jacked.
No,
Not in WWF.
Uh, no, yeah, maybe WCW when it first came out. And this, oh, hey, Jeremy,
Well,
this one, this one's for you. I grabbed this one. You might know him better as Mad Mikey.
Shark Boy. I wanted Shark Boy. You got Shark Boy?
No, we got
My boy.
your old
Good
buddy.
old Crash Holly.
And I love
My
this. And
favorite
everyone like came
hardcore
with,
champion.
he just puts his hand to his face, questioning things.
Ponder.
They even
Ponder.
he even looks like they kind of made him
Ponder.
small too.
Yeah. Well,
He was a shrimp.
Oh wow. Yeah, they did.
man, Big Show's hands like half.
Spark
Size of
plug.
Crash.
Let's bring him out.
So for the merch table this week, who we picking, boys? Who we like?
I gotta go. I'm going Big Show. That's it's very Gangrel looking. It's very scary, very strange.
Yeah. This
I like the
could be a
draws.
sweat almost. Yeah, I would go draws is probably the best, and Big Show is
Is
this
the
is
worst.
terrible figure. It is terrible. Oh, and I guess they have a autograph on the pants. I just realized, but
Shop it or
still,
Very
ship it.
random.
That's what you should say. Shop it or ship it.
no, no. Like I said, once we hit certain levels, fans will be
Milestones.
getting these. Yeah, milestones. You will be receiving these, and they can haunt your nightmares and no longer mine.
It's like that porcelain doll.
Yeah.
Big
And,
Show's in the corner just watching you up there in a pedestal.
There were some
I've
cool.
been keeping
There were some
track
cool
of the
Big Show figures.
winners.
Go ahead,
Oh
Charlie.
yeah, yeah. They have like 25 of them, and some of them are good. But I've been keeping track of the winners, and as you mentioned, brackets. I
Are they
think
gonna have a wrestling match
once
at the end?
we no, no, once we have enough, we'll do the merch table, horrible wrestler brackets, and we'll decide on
The
who's
shit.
our least
Crappiest of them all.
favorite, our
And
greatest.
Jeremy. And then Jeremy will deliver you Gangrel and show you how he sweats.
Yeah,
Did
he'll
you-
hand
that
deliver
boy.
him to you.
All right.
Can I play
That
his
was this.
theme music as I come into the house?
Yeah, play Gangrel's theme music. That won't terrify
The bird
anyone.
music.
Yeah, and put some vampire fangs.
I'll get the plastic ones you get at Party City.
A very strange sight. Jeremy walking into your house with plastic vampire fangs, holding a sweat Gangrel.
Some white, make me paler than I already am, and some fake blood dripping, and we'll be set.
Very strange. All right, that
Very.
was this week's merch table. Now we're gonna jump into our archive here. We're gonna have a little bit of a debate again. This week we're working a little stiff. We're gonna talk. This might be a tough one for Jeremy. We're gonna talk about John Cena. Was John Cena
Ooh.
made by Vince McMahon and forced to the fans, or did John Cena persevere, become a living legend on his own? I know where Jeremy stands on this, but we will discuss this because I feel a certain different way than Jeremy may do. So,
I
Jeremy, would
think
you
we
like to
should all
speak
get our
on
votes
behalf of
in.
John?
I think we should all get our votes in right now, and then back and forth what are I why, and like have a debate that way.
Okay, I'm
So we
going
get
right
that
now.
out there for everybody. So mine clearly John Cena was made his own legacy in the long run. I don't think Vince McMahon force fed it. I think he did it organically where they didn't expect him to get over like he did when he was kind of a heel and making fun of each town that he walked in on. They didn't expect that people to actually flock towards that more. He was going to alienate himself when he was in those towns a little more so people would hate him more. But no, actually people enjoyed them cracking on their town because they would make fun
Wait,
of
I
their
thought we were
town for the
gonna
same
get.
thing.
I thought we were gonna give
I thought we were
our
just voting.
choice and then debate it. Yeah.
I'm just giving my quick stance on
He's
something. So I'm passionate. What can I say?
passionate about Cena. I will say, I'll give my
Even
vote, and then we'll discuss after Charlie gives his vote. I vote Cena was 100% made and forced down our throats by Vince McMahon. Had it not been for Vince, John Cena would not be the world champion right now and would have been gone a decade ago.
oof.
Charlie?
Um. Okay, I will say this with the caveat that yes, Vince made John Cena, but up until 6 months ago, every wrestler that's been successful was made by Vince. So at the end of the day, John Cena controlled his own destiny. And I will point out some things that I think separate him and why it wasn't just Vince shoving him down his throat. He did, but Vince does that with all his top guys. But John Cena was able to keep it going for 20-something years, and there's a reason for that.
Right, I'm gonna jump in and give
Stepped up
it.
whenever they needed him.
Jeremy got to give
Well,
some of his argument already, so I'm gonna give some of mine here. I'm gonna say
go
so.
for it.
John Cena came up from what was it, OVW, right? And he was just a generic creator
Ohio
wrestler.
Valley Wrestling.
Yeah, he
Yep,
came up as a
he was in
generic
that.
creator wrestler. Was
He
about to
was a
get cut from WWE.
bodybuilder.
Yeah, basically just a bodybuilder. He was going to get released from WWE. There's an interview out there. You can even hear him say it. He felt like he was going to get released soon. something didn't change, and he just happened to be rapping backstage, and Stephanie McMahon heard it, blah blah blah. We all know the story. He started rapping backstage, and that's where he became the doctor of thugonomics. And I'll say that one he got over organically, right? They gave him that push, and I think that got over organically. Had it not been for that, he'd have been gone then. He was a boring character before that. He was full of ruthless aggression. But that then he became the Doctor of Thugonomics, right? That got over fine. He did a little heel thing there, which was cool. And then it kind of got played out. It was just the same thing. He was the Doctor Thugonomics. Then he went back to this as The Rock would say, the Fruit Loop wearing character with the colorful shirts and white
But
meat
he
baby face.
created that opportunity.
Well, he created, yeah, right.
Let him
I'll give
argue
him
his
that.
point.
So
He he created the Doctor Thugonomics, fine. And I'm saying I didn't say he'd be gone then. I'd say he'd be on about 10 years, from right now ago, like 2015-ish. So he was that same character, and then we went on, and they kept giving him the title, and he was this boring character. And everybody, again, looks back with love now. Everybody loves John Cena now, but you go back 10 years ago, he was getting booed out of the building. John Cena sucks every time he came out. And it wasn't the fun way they're doing it now. It's John Cena sucks. They hated John Cena. They wanted John Cena. That's go away heat. That's not fun heat like he gets now. So they wanted him gone. They kept pushing him. He won the title. He put over some guys along the way, but never really put him over. Like he'd get the final win in the feuds, and he'd continue to do this and this and this. And
But
I
he
will
created
also
more
say,
charismatic wrestlers because of that, because they had to work on their mic game, or else they were going to not make it in the thing like he did.
well, I will say the exact opposite. If it wasn't for the amazing heels John Cena went up against, he again doesn't make it. If he's not feuding with Randy Orton, if he's not feuding with the rated R superstar, if he's not feuding with the guy that I hated, that I mentioned I hated before, CM Punk, John Cena isn't John Cena. He needed those huge heels to carry him to make him that big of a star at that time.
No, they needed the combatants.
He needed somebody to combat, but if it wasn't for the quality heels, he couldn't have
But
carried
he
that
put over
character on his
people
own.
who couldn't carry anything. They're jock to those people. He
Who
gave
did he
people
put
the
over that
ability
couldn't
to
carry?
speak up.
Give me an
I can't give any
example.
specific.
Exactly. For the second one, Charlie, you've been awfully quiet.
Okay. Like I said, mine is a hybrid, but if I had to choose one side, it would be John Cena making his own path. Let's put it this way, okay? Everyone, like I said before, everyone that is a star, I think everyone knows this. You don't really win the championship. It's decided to be given to you. I know I'm
Yes.
breaking kayfabe here, but let's look at the guys, some of the guys that Vince wanted to push down our throats and didn't last for 20 years or 5 years or 10 years or even in some cases 2 years. Lex Luger was supposed to take Hulk Hogan's spot. That didn't work out so good, did it?
The whole
The Great
Yokozuna slam.
Khali, hang on. The Great Khali was brought in. He was given a title push. He was gone shortly after. If not gone from the roster, gone from the main event picture. Uh, that you can look throughout the history of WWE, and there's guys that Vince pushed and tried to force feed that the fans genuinely rejected. John Cena, I will say this: the Doctor Thugonomics character, yes, he created that. I am with you, Joe. I was booing Super Cena and when he couldn't lose and this and that, but there is a reason why he remained at the top. Merch. He always was moving merch. He was their number one merch seller, except for a short time when CM Punk overtook him for the better part of a decade and a half. If you do that, you're valuable to
Sweatbands,
the company.
headbands.
Right. You're valuable to the company. Maybe the guys in our age bracket weren't liking him, but there was kids that were liking him, and their parents are buying the tickets and buying the shirts. And in some cases, you'll have a really good Samaritan that buys kids John Cena shirts because they can't afford them at a wrestling event. Um,
True story.
you're supposed, yeah, you're supposed to laugh there, Jeremy. But
I
yeah,
don't think Jeremy was there.
that
I was not.
no,
No.
uh, yeah, it's just these two kids. I just felt bad, and I bought them some John Cena merch.
That's for
And
you.
then we got invited backstage. Me and Joe got to meet all the wrestlers, right on the belts.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
offered a contract,
Joe
but
went out
I
with
was kind of
Paige.
busy at the time. So
Yeah. Paige, remember Paige kept on trying to hit on you?
that's true. Yeah, yeah. Occasionally
Yeah.
still.
But but no, for those reasons, I will say I think John Cena is a self-made man to the extent that anyone can be in WWE. Because
Yeah.
like I said, up until very recently, it depended on one man's call. But even Ultimate Warrior, when they tried to replace Hulk, he couldn't keep that spot. To be able to keep it for that long, like I said, if he wasn't putting asses in seats and selling the merch, the merch, the merch, the merch. Like that iguana guy, the iguana man, they're bringing
Mr.
him up to the
Iguana.
main roster just because he's moving merch. So, and that's all on him. So I got to side with John Cena on his own.
Right. So I will go back and I'll say I agree with you on the merch thing. The merch thing sells, as you know, obviously it's a business of making money, right? So yeah, you're selling merch. I will also say during that same time, if there had been a viable other option to be the face of the company, which they did not have, there was nobody else they could really put in that place, right? If anybody else had been in that in the WWE at the time, that could have been the face of the company. That would have been the face of the
Orton,
company. He was a heel. He was much better. At that time, you didn't see a face Randy Orton. He was punting
okay,
people, so
okay,
that wasn't going to get over.
okay,
You had guys like Rey Mysterio, but he wasn't as big. Obviously he was,
right.
there's limitations there. You could have maybe flipped Edge or something like that. But if they had a viable option for that face of the company, I think he's gone then. And then even with the Luger argument, they pulled the plug on Luger. Luger, they kind of they didn't even give him the chance. They didn't keep forcing him like they forced Cena. They could have continued pushing Luger, and we would have felt the same way about Luger that we do about Cena. But they pulled the plug. They knew it wasn't working. They tagged him with the British Bulldog, and then they started pushing the smaller
The
guys like
Allied
Brett.
powers.
Yeah, yeah. So then they started pushing Brett and Sean, and again, it
The
was a tough period
mullet,
of time because they didn't have that top face. So again, to avoid being in that situation again, that's where they continued to push Cena. And then I'm even gonna go modern. I'm gonna go right now. Cena went heel. That was a huge moment. I loved it when he went heel at WrestleMania. Um, Thought it was gonna be this massive thing, and then I think everybody else did too, but it's fallen kind of flat. He there's a lot of reasons fell flat. We won't dig into that because it's a whole nother conversation. But again, the Cena heel run hasn't been that great. Like when Hogan went Cena, or when Hogan went heel, that was huge, and it continued to fall, and it
That
was a
was.
massive thing. Cena went heel, and it's just meh. He's this guy that is not
I
really
think
clear
it's
on
part
why
of the
he's a
whole
heel.
plot line why I would repackage Cody.
How does that tie to Cena?
Aren't they going at each other right now?
Oh, so you're saying Cena, Cody becoming more edgy would elevate Cena as a heel?
Because he's carrying Cody a little more right now because it's kind of dry right now.
Cody is carrying that company. Cody's the face of this company, and whether like it
Yeah,
or
but
not.
it's like went back to that argument before. That's why I want to see a little more because it's not going to get any better. It could get worse, but it's just coasting right now. Right now, the storyline. I think him doing that would sell, like, create something more
Yeah,
overall with his personality changing to feud with Cena.
I think there's things you could do to make the feud right now better. The storyline of Cena being heel better right now. But again, they're kind of Cena's job to get this character over, and it hasn't. If you remember, if you go back to WrestleMania,
This
we watched it together. The backlash after it was like it was terrible. The main event was terrible. Cena as a heel, he did punches and kicks the whole match. And I get it. That's part of being a heel nowadays. You can't be the cool heel. You got to be something people actually hate. So you do something that people hate. Be boring. Um, but he's a
deplorable.
one-trick pony. If you take him out of that Super Cena role, he's a
Ah,
one-trick pony. He's not going to work as a heel. He's going to turn back face probably right after SummerSlam to finish his run here until he retires.
Are we booking that one up? Are you going to write that down and call it if it happens?
Book that.
wait,
I will do a
counterpoint.
stipulation of your choosing if Cena does not turn back face before he retires.
Charlie, we're going to have to talk about this one.
We will
You
have to talk
pick it.
about this one, but here's a counterpoint, Joe. He has progressed uh, in his wrestling. You could say
Oh yeah,
when he was doing that Super Cena run, it was like I said, I wasn't a huge fan, but he had an hour-long banger with Shawn Michaels that stood out to me. He became a very not, like the greatest worker of all time, but I think a good wrestler. I think he was able to put on good matches where in the beginning he wasn't. He's always been good on the mic. So, I mean, I think Vince was pushing probably the most talented guy there overall.
The
The
most sure
look,
thing that
yeah,
he could fall back on it, and it was a security
right,
blanket. Yeah, but you knew that he could carry it.
right.
Decent on the mic. Decent. I'll give him that. And
Decent. You're
decent on
crazy.
the mic. No, he's right. He's
Charlie
right on the
loves the
mic. I'm not saying
charismatic
that.
people. If Charlie to say take offense to you saying he's decent, that's some stuff he's saying
Decent
right
on the mic.
there.
And then again, banger of a match. Who was he
Uh,
wrestling in that match? Who did he wrestle? One of the
Uh,
greatest workers of all time, Shawn Michaels.
HBK. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, put
Like
him
I,
in there with I
did
don't
he make
know,
him look bad?
Fish
Kenny
Wreck.
from the job squad, Kenny from the cheerleading squad. What was that group? Put him in there with him, and then we'll
Oh my
see
God, the
how
cheerleading
Cena
squad.
carries the match.
You know, he
Spirit
got
squad.
that Kenny fired,
Yep.
right? He got Kenny fired, right?
No, what is that story?
Kenny Dykstra was dating Mickey James, or they were
Ah,
engaged.
okay, yeah, I do
And
remember this.
then,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, John Cena had an affair with Mickey James and then dumped her. Apparently, she went
Hmm.
like psycho, and Kenny just got caught up in WWE when there's like a relationship. They fire the guy that had nothing to do with it. Like Matt Hardy got fired with Lita and Edge. Kenny gets fired for John Cena and Mickey. It's just, hey, whoever is the bigger star gets a free pass.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You make
again,
me more
I think
money. I'm sorry, I got to get rid of the one that makes me less money.
yeah,
It's a
I'm
quick
I'm not
business
saying again.
decision.
Don't want to be. I don't want to confuse you. I'm not saying Cena's a bum. He's not, the Goon or the Brooklyn Brawler.
I think
He's
that
a
Vince a
quality
bum.
wrestler. One of the biggest gimmicks of all time is the Doctor of Thugonomics. But I think if Vince doesn't keep force feeding Super Cena to us, and there was another option during that era, during the 2010s into early 2020s,
Have you ever
Cena might not be here.
shook John Cena's hand?
Batista.
Have I shook John Cena's hand?
Have you met him?
No, I've not met John
Dude,
Cena.
his
No.
hand engulfs mine. I met him right before WrestleMania 20 at Jersey City Mall, and he was signing
What in the
autographs
blue
for
hell
his.
does that have to do with the topic?
I'm just saying, talking about John Cena. I just
Yeah.
remember
No,
meeting
I'm
him
with you.
there
No,
right before
I'm
that.
with you. The
He's
And
reason
I
I
passionate
remember
wrote
about
down
Cena.
some of the
shaking his hand, and it like literally engulfed mine. It was just huge muscle. I was like, what the?
I wrote down some of the reasons why. Like I said, it was hard, but big hands was like number one reason for me. I mean,
When Jeremy's passionate about something, it gets a little weird. He had a Troy Aikman book of Troy Aikman as an actual cowboy doing something, saving kids. I remember seeing this book. He had it for
It
this.
was a scholastic book. I still
Yes.
have it.
See,
I
he's
yes, I
passionate.
think
So I'll give
I'm
him
a
that.
diehard
it
Troy
goes
Aikman
deep.
fan. That's how
It
my
goes deep.
Cowboys fandom and love came. It was through the Cowboys, Troy Aikman, and the triplets.
All right. Well, I don't think I've sold you on Cena not being Vince McMahon, and I know you haven't sold me on the other way. So we will keep it moving. I'd like to stay friends with Jeremy and not hurt his feelings talking about Cena. So um, again, let us know what you think. Was Cena Vince made man, or did he get over on his own? You tell us. We'll listen to what you guys got to say. Um, yeah, we're gonna move it along to our last segment of the day, another fun one. Gimmick of the week. So last week we did Disco Inferno. This week we're gonna get even weirder. This was one I did not even know about existed until Charlie showed me a video from the WWE Vault this week.
I
So
just
yeah,
saw it
Charlie.
today.
Charlie, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Okay. Um, the man we are talking about has gone by many monikers during his illustrious career.
I can't
He has
believe this is
gone
real.
by some names as the Booty Man, the Butcher, Zodiac, the Disciple, the Man with No Face, Baron Beefcake, Big Baron Beefcake. But today we're talking about Furface. Let me repeat
The
that.
legend, the legend.
Oh,
Furface. Yeah. And 99.9% of you are probably, except the ones that
it was
clicked
like the
on the vault this week.
Chupacabra, right?
Hang on. you're probably asking yourself, who in the blue hell is Furface? And I mean, me and Joe tried to compile some research. I guess what we have is if Vince wanted to have him as a an advocate for people that's been in boating accidents. They're gonna call him the Mariner. There's a spattering of rumors online, but very small selection because it did not last long, and with great cause, I may say. But I would love to hear anyone else's opinion on Furface.
So I want to go
I
back.
feel weird even saving that Furface.
So he officially didn't have a name. So they had like backstage, they called him like the Mariner or the Avenger or something. And then he became the legend known as Furface because he came out dressed in like he had like a furry white mohawk thing, looked like an animal on his head, and furry white gloves, furry
Looks
boots.
like a Davy Crockett hat, but extra long.
Yes,
I'm just calling
exactly.
him Furface.
Furface. And he wore an all black mask that looked kind of like a stocking mask, but completely blacked out. So you couldn't see his face at
It's like
all.
the green mask that you wear on top of fur boots, the arms, and the head.
Yeah. Yeah, and he ran down to the ring looking like a Yeti. And if you look, if you really get into the details, his pants had skull and crossbones on them. Not sure what this whole gimmick was. Yeah, so he came
Who
out
knew
as
he was going
this,
to be involved with today's fashion too? Because I see girls wearing those boots today all the time during the winter time. Those bougie ass boots.
and he came in and it was just running. So you did the research I did, and Charlie, I don't know if you saw the same thing, but it said that they did this as a way to get Brutus back. He had that terrible bloating parasailing accident where his face got smashed in. They were trying to get him back into the ring and gain his confidence again. So he came out in this mask and he ran in the ring and just beat up the bad guys after the match. Like Rick Martel was going to spray arrogance on some jobber after the match, and he came in, does an overhand chop and a butt to the back of somebody's head. That was the whole thing every time he ran in. But it was to get him back like into ring
His
shape and
confidence.
back get his confidence. Yeah, get his confidence back. So that was the whole gimmick or the whole idea of it. And then he kind of
Oh,
changed. So if you watch the rest of this video from WWE Vault, they change him at the end. He's not furry anymore. He's got like this star mask with a black do-rag, and here's the most interesting part. If you really zoom in again, he's wearing like red tights, pants, but there's like a golden thong in the back, which is really weird. He looks like a
Booty Man.
strange home. Maybe that's where it came
He
from.
has
He
an
was the
obsession
booty man.
with butts, dude. He has an obsession with butts. And
Who would have thought it could have been related to the road trip?
and you know the only reason he got kept on the roster for so long because he was Hogan's best friend. But
Yeah.
I looked it up to see if they were friends, and they're not. Conflicting reports. Some say Hogan accused him of stealing some jewelry. Brute High says that Hogan tried to hit on his wife and tried to make a move on his wife, which that checks out if you're because Hogan does. But they're not even.
Given his
They're,
history of transgressions, yeah, I'm sorry.
but Hogan carried him along for 20 years. Uh,
What the
and
schlong?
that's how you repay the man, the legend of Furface. Come on.
And then shortly after this, like you said, it was like a 1 month period. So he was only on TV twice, and it wasn't even as the Furface character. It was as that second Furface character. I don't even know what
Yeah,
you call it. And then he was gone,
sure.
and he was back to being Brutus, and he had the barbershop show again. He wasn't a Furface anymore, so it didn't last long. And I was reading, if you watched, I don't know if you read through the comments on the YouTube video, well, like there's tons of people who at least say they knew about this. There's no way in hell. I have never seen this in
No
my life.
shot. There's no
Tons
shot.
of people,
There's no
tons
shot.
of people in
Only the
the
writers
comments,
and Vince McMahon.
tons of people in the
Yeah.
comments were
Listen,
making people sound stupid for
Brutus
not knowing
didn't
who
even
Furface
know.
is.
th listen. I highly recommend any wrestling fans to get it. It probably came out 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It's the WWE
Uh,
Encyclopedia, and it has like Joe was talking about Techno Team 2000. It's got that. It's got wrestlers I even haven't heard. It does not have any mention of the legend of Furface or anything about that. I call bull crap on all those commenters. And if you have the
baloney.
receipts to back it up, you know, put them on our comment section. But I think you're all liars.
Nobody knew this gimmick. Nobody's seen this.
Not at all.
It was on Wrestling Challenge. I don't even think that was on
Dude,
TV.
it's barely Googleable. Like, I couldn't find much on Google about it. Are you kidding me?
Right. You can
Here's
get
a fun
more
It's
fact
almost
on
about
Google proof.
there's an indie guy called Gozik the Grouch. There's he's local guy, but there's more on him
Oh,
than Furface.
oh,
Goes at the Grouch. We
he
might bring
lives
him
in
on
a
an episode.
dumpster.
Good friend of ours. We might bring him on here. Maybe dress him as Kamala or the Dumpster Josie or maybe goes at the Grouch. Maybe pops out a
Or a
garbage can.
homeless person, but you can't tell if he's
Uh,
a wrestler or not.
yeah, even when you chat GPT, Furface, the legend of Furface in WWE, they started talking about George the Animal Steel, and that's what Jimmy
Yeah,
Hart
it's
and somebody
hard to
else
get
called him.
information on him.
Yeah.
And you got these
It's almost like
jobbers saying, I knew all about Furface." Oh,
I got a
fuck
Furface
out of
shirt
here.
when I was 7 years old.
No, that
All
was
right.
just my dad's actual chest hair.
For those of you that
That's
don't know, Jeremy's father was quite hairy. He's
Oh,
a good man, but he's very
God
hairy.
rest his soul, but yes.
R.I.P. to the legend, the true Furface.
Yes. Oh, the memories of him and his botches with wrestling, those will live on forever.
Oh, the money man,
The penalty.
the penalty, pay for view.
Oh, man.
So these were Jeremy's dad's
Miss you,
botches
Pops.
in wrestling.
Rap, rap sheet Kevin Rude.
Oh, no.
He tried his
For
best.
those of you that don't know what we're talking about, we'll have to elaborate one day. It's well worth it.
Oh, yes, those stories are great.
All right, well, that was our
Oh,
gimmick of the week. Furface, Jeremy, go ahead. What are you going to say?
happy Father's Day to everybody out there. May get out there a little late, but happy Father's Day.
Yeah, we're recording this day before Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Furface, if you got kids.
Happy Father's Day to both my colleagues here who are fathers, and
Thank
if
you.
there's any children out there that are my kids I don't know about, please don't contact me. I don't want to pay you.
HBK Charlie's got a couple running around out there.
Yeah, HP, not. I love Jesus, Charlie. HBK Charlie.
They're pumping
All
up
right,
the SBC music.
that was our gimmick of the week. That was the Legend of Furface. If you guys have heard of him, if you know anything more about it, feel free to fill us in. We're going on what we could find. There's not a lot out
We
there,
want to
but
be
that was it.
enlightened.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, that's our show for the week. We don't have any emails this week. So if you guys do have emails for us, reach out squaredcirclequestions@gmail.com. Again, you can watch our video on YouTube, Squared Circle Spotlight. We're on Spotify as well, Squared Circle Spotlight there as well, and our Instagram, posting clips. We're posting memes, posting reels. So we got stuff coming out constantly all week long. So make sure you check that out. We're building a little following there. So everybody that has started following us, thank you. We're growing. Got a lot of views on that Stevie Ray video. Charlie loves
You guys
Stevie
are the
Ray.
real
People
ones.
Apparently,
love Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray brings viewers. I mean, we got to just
A
change
hot
it to
topic.
Stevie Ray topics.
This might be the Stevie
Uh,
Ray show from now on.
yeah, but guys, leave comments if you want to hear us just talk about certain topics, or if you have merch table items that you want to see. I might just have them. I got a whole storage unit filled with
If you
wrestlers.
have some merch that we can see of yours and we could talk about, that'd be great too.
For sure.
Yeah, send a
Send us pictures.
picture in the email. No, and well, Jeremy will send you a picture of himself any way you want.
Sweating like Gangrel.
God.
All right, I'm ending it there. Thank you guys. Check us out next week. We'll be back.
Thanks,
We will have the next round of our botch bracket. So look forward to that. See you guys next week.